What's up, everybody? I don't know what camera to look at. It's always
Well, they gotta cut us in first.
Oh, wait,
is it this one? It's that
Hey,
one.
it's
Whoa.
All right, here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rob and Rob Show, music commentary from your favorite Robs. I'm Rob White.
And I'm Rob Segovia.
We are joined with a special guest today on the Rob and Rob Show.
Whoa.
Special guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Noah Bullard. I'm a producer here at The Real Deal and personal friend of both Robs. And I'm really excited to be on the show today. As we've talked about a little bit before the show, these two know a lot about music. There's a gnat up here. These two know a lot about music. I listen to a lot of music, but I don't know a lot about music. So it's going to be a nice show.
Yeah, a nice little.
It's really cool because, during The Real Deal, right before the show goes on, Noah will play like a really good song. And I'm like, this is hot. And then he goes one more, one after the other, even at the parties. He's got the bop. So Noah knows a ton about music, and I'm ready for his picks.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm super excited for this. Happy that you are here. As always, we're going to start with albums of the week, songs of the week, and then our main segments. Our main segments will include our Grammy predictions as far as who we think are going to get nominated, and then who we think are going to win. Then our thoughts on the Grammys, and then if we have time later, we're going to discuss artists, how they sound in live at a concert, and how they sound in studio, and compare and contrast, all that stuff. If I can stop stuttering, that'd be really great. But all right, let's get into albums of the week right now. Who wants to kick us off?
I will. So recently I've been listening to Black Holes and Revelations by Muse. It's one of my favorite albums from the 2000s. Muse are a British band, and they have a lot of great songs from that album that I just mentioned, The Resistance, even Absolution. So
What genre?
They're alternative rock, I'd say.
Yeah.
But yeah, they definitely got pretty big with some of their songs from this album. Starlight was one of them. Black Holes and Revelation, the title track, was also really good. And then later on, The Resistance, Uprising, and The Resistance. They like doing title tracks for their albums, but definitely a good listen. And they're a little political, but their music really overpowers it. So.
Yeah, and another track off that album, Knights of Sidonia, ended up making it onto Guitar Hero 3.
Guitar Hero, that's actually what got me into the band.
Man,
yeah.
And he says he doesn't know a lot about music.
That's kind of the stuff I listen to. So I like me some Muse. I like that pick, Rob.
Awesome.
All right, so I already know what you got for albums of the week.
So my album of the week was Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses.
Good pick.
In my personal opinion, this is not just an album of the week, but possibly the greatest rock album ever composed. I mean, the lead track, Welcome to the Jungle, Paradise City, Sweet Child of Mine, Anything Goes, and then on the Super Deluxe album edition, it's got all their live performances of some of their other stuff. So not only was Guns N' Roses ballsy enough to put like 15 live tracks on their album, they added like 4 more of their greatest songs ever in one album. And this is not a greatest hits album. This is an album that was released at the time in, I believe, the mid 70s.
Sounds about right.
87. Yeah, 87.
Yeah, Welcome to the Jungle is one of those tracks that always plays at stadiums. Definitely gets you hyped up. And then Sweet Child of Mine is a really great classic song that I like to listen to. I actually had a list of songs that I went through in my songs of the year, which, that's a little plug. I'm doing like a whole 2018 playlist, and a whole week was dedicated to some of my favorite classic rock songs. Sweet Child of Mine, great pick.
There we go. And I guess I'll get into it. That was a really good pick because the Little Rock that I listen to, Guns N' Roses, is is a band that I always go to. So for my album of the week, it's no coincidence that I'm wearing a Thriller shirt right now. It goes to Michael Jackson's Thriller, just to get us into that spooky season. Me and Rob actually watched the Thriller video last night. That is pure coincidence that we just ended up watching that.
His eyes creep me out.
I was so scared. Even as a kid, I was always scared of it. But his eyes, now, I can just picture him right now, and like Terrified. But yeah, that's definitely Michael Jackson's greatest album in my opinion. I think the album surpassed it, but for a long time it was the highest selling album of all time. Can't remember what album passed it.
It was the Eagles' greatest hits.
That's what it was. Yeah. But yeah, Thriller, PYT. What else was on? Beat It, Human Nature. Man, that's just.
All the
Again,
great
it's
Michael
not
Jackson
even a greatest
songs.
hits
Right,
album.
yeah.
That's just
Right.
Exactly.
happens
It's
to be
another
songs
one.
on there.
Another 80s album that just has
Right.
great songs, and a lot of those great 80s songs just happen to be the greatest hits of all time. So,
Right.
you know,
And
the 80s are a great time.
That
It's a
album
great song.
drew inspiration from a lot of popular artists at the time. I mean,
Exactly.
Eddie Van Halen did the solo
Yes.
on Beat It.
Yeah.
So
Forgot about that.
You know, it's just that is a really good album.
Yes,
I like
absolutely. So shout out to all the albums that we brought to you guys today. All right, let's go on to Song of the Week. We're going to kick things off with rap again. What is your song that you've been listening to?
Yeah, my song of the week is Mia by Bad Bunny featuring Drake. I actually featured this on my segment for The Real Deal, and I mean, I just can't stop listening to it. It's one of those Latin tracks that, you know, gets you dancing. I mean, who doesn't love Drake rapping and singing in Spanish? I mean,
Yeah.
You're right.
Exactly, a Canadian,
You're right.
Everybody.
a Canadian speaking Spanish.
I didn't even think of that. A Jewish Canadian speaks Spanish.
Yeah,
Drake's
exactly.
Jewish? I didn't know Drake
His
was
mom's
Jewish.
Jewish, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Well,
It's something new.
you
Every
learn
day,
something
right?
new every
Yeah,
day. Yeah. But yeah, Mia is definitely a great song if you haven't listened to it, but I'm sure you have because it's racking up over 50 million views on YouTube and just as many streams on Spotify. So.
Yeah. I actually haven't heard that song, so after
Oh.
the show, I'll go give it a listen.
Right.
But I can't comment on
We'll
it.
go listen to it on our way to Burger King.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
on the
we'll
way
do
to
that.
Burger
Yeah,
King. I feel like 2018 is the year for Latin hip hop. Pretty much. It
absolutely.
seems like every other month you hear another hit that's in Spanish. I like
Exactly.
that. A lot of cultural appropriation.
Yeah. I guess I'll go on with mine. This week I picked "You Raised Me Up" by Josh Groban because yesterday we were in the studio for WCRD and there was an ad that had Josh Groban in it. So I just, in my mind of minds, started singing a song, and "You Raised Me Up" was what I came up with. And since last night, I've probably listened to that song 7 or 8 times. So I couldn't justify picking anything else for my song of the week. Just an uplifting song, and it's
Josh Groban does.
soulful, and it's
Yeah.
like kind of Irish, and like in the violin, little bagpipes in there. It hits you right here.
Right.
It's
I definitely felt it when you lip synced it and sent it to me on Snapchat. I watched it.
I did
in
do
its
that.
entirety. Yeah, Robert can attest to it. I'm like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
watch this
I watched over the shoulder. I'm like,
I wasn't lip syncing, but
Oh yeah, you were.
no,
Actually
he was actually singing. He's a good singer.
See, that's how, man.
I'm not singing on camera.
Yeah,
no,
we
I'm not
don't
doing
have
it.
to. You just
No.
take your word for it. That's a really good pick. Shout out to Josh Groban. All right, my song of the week, gonna keep it with the 80s theme, is Bon Jovi, "Living on a Prayer." I don't think I told you guys this. I'm training for a 5-mile run this Thanksgiving.
Oh wow.
And "Living on a Prayer," every time that song kicks in to my workout playlist, it just gets me a little extra pumped, especially when the chorus first hits. Like, we'll give it a shot. And that just makes me want to run like I know, all right, I can do 1 more mile right after this chorus. And so yeah, no, and that's another song that I've grown up listening to. My family is huge Bon Jovi fans. They played at both my sister's weddings, always in the background whenever we were just chilling out at the house and stuff like that. So
That's
I just want to
awesome.
pay a little homage to Bon Jovi with that terrible high note that I just tried to hit. So,
Talk about another great album too.
Yeah.
"Slippery When Wet."
Man.
That Bon Jovi album is awesome.
absolutely. We have our other roommate, Connor. He brought it up that that's his mom's favorite albums.
Yeah.
And like he has like T-shirt of it. Oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bon
I mean,
Jovi.
shout out to Connor's mom.
Shout out to Connor's mom, Mama Jane. All right.
Jeez, that is a good album.
That is a good album. All right, those are good picks, and we're gonna move into our main segments. You guys ready?
Yep.
Let's do it.
All right, so we're gonna be talking about Grammy predictions and our thoughts on the Grammys. You guys want to start with what we think of the Grammys first before we go into our picks?
Well, yeah, I mean, the Grammys always, get a bad rep because they tend to pick some of the albums or songs that are most popular rather than the best. When a lot of people go to the Grammys for the best music. They do have solid picks, but they end up going with a winner that isn't, you know, usually the best. They usually go with ones that are the top of the charts. Those are my opinions on it. I do like some of the artists or albums that they feature that I don't know, but back in 2012 or 2013 when Good Kid, Mad City lost to Macklemore, The Heist, I was a little confused about that because although I liked a couple songs on The Heist, I didn't think it was better than the cinematic experience that was Good Kid, Mad City.
Right, absolutely.
And Kendrick's album last year lost to 24 Karat Magic.
Yeah, exactly.
So. And Jay-Z. Jay-Z was nominated for Album of the Year too. Was he? Yeah, he was
yeah,
nominated for Album of the Year. Yeah.
I mean, both of those albums were better than Bruno Mars's album. I mean, although Bruno Mars makes great music, there's just certain themes in Jay-Z's and Kendrick Lamar's music that should overpower.
Right.
That. Bruno's also a little more family friendly.
True. Yeah.
And I think the Grammys definitely take that into consideration.
Right. Exactly.
There's not a lot of place for vulgarity that you find in some music.
Right.
I mean, Eminem rapped about it for years. About how he could never get a Grammy, and then the Grammys were fine.
Yeah, and then they gave him every single one.
Right.
And now he's being nominated every time, regardless if it's great content or not.
Right.
So
I saw a Grammy list today that said Revival was on the hot list for album of or R&B album of the year, and I was like, what?
That
no, that's wrong.
I was gonna touch on that too.
That's
like
wrong.
Putting like songs in categories that they don't belong in is like something that the Grammys is kind of notorious for as well. Grouping R&B artists in the hip hop genre and then they have similarities, but even pop stars being grouped in some of these like soulful categories, like when they're obviously not sounding like that.
Right.
And that it's just you can just tell like the Grammys aren't there to like really give out the best music. They're there to it's a marketing ploy.
It's a popularity contest.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what it is. Who sold the most records, who's playing on the radio as much, and who's being talked about online. That's pretty much who's going to
Granted,
win.
There's something to be said about that as well. You know, I mean, you sell the most records, it's something, you're doing something.
You're doing
right,
something.
Exactly.
Right,
There's a reason why they call it pop culture.
Right, exactly.
But, you know, in the minds of many, you know, like for us, you know, we all are fairly diverse with our music trends and habits and the things we listen to.
Right.
You know, we can appreciate something that we wouldn't normally listen to, but it's not what we would go out of our way to pick.
Right.
You know, and like for me, when I see something like Taylor Swift win a Grammy, I'm like, okay, like I get it. A lot of people really like Taylor Swift, and I can appreciate it because she found a way to cater to a large audience. But you know, it's a double-edged sword for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, and she crosses over into pop music, which is why she gets all the attention she does. And speaking on that pop category, I saw an article recently where Post Malone's album is actually going to be featured in the pop category of the Grammys this year instead of rap. So
interesting.
Like you said, putting artists and albums into different categories, it's a little weird, just the way they do it. But
that is a little weird.
And to touch on the Grammys itself, I mean, like you said, we have diverse tastes in music, but when it comes to award shows like the Oscars or the Tonys, it's usually the best of the best.
Right,
And with the Grammys, sometimes they fail to do that and they go towards what's most popular. And sometimes the movies that are most popular end up winning the Oscars. But in music, there's songs that are out there that are definitely going to win that I've never wanted to listen to more than 10 times.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear you.
Yeah.
But I feel like one pro to the pro to the Oscars, pro to the Grammys, is that it does kind of introduce me to songs that I would never have listened to. Because it is it's music's biggest honor to get nominated, at least, whether it's like you got nominated for the right reasons or not. You're still getting nominated, still getting put out there. Like you're nominated for a reason, regardless of the reason. The song's gonna be good in some aspect. So yeah, I never really listened to Taylor Swift until she got her nominations, like kind of like way back, talking like 3 or 4 years ago. Even Adele, I mean, I really liked Adele's like hits, but seeing her being nominated in a lot of categories made me want to go back to her previous albums and really appreciate like all the music she's done.
Which there are artists now that are saying no to the Grammys. They're holding back their music. Frank Ocean did it with Blonde. He didn't put his album out there. Drake last year, he didn't send his album to the Grammys. So I don't know if there's going to be some picks that we like and we want to win that maybe the artists are just like, no, I'm not going to send it to the Grammys.
Yeah, maybe that's just saying like it's a way to protest. Like the Grammys isn't the pinnacle of your success that you can make. As long as you have fans that like your music, and as long as you like your music, then no one can. I don't need a trophy to like prove that. I think that's what most of these artists are getting at.
Definitely,
and especially like a corrupt system like the Grammys.
Yeah.
Is. So.
And to get into some of our predictions and thoughts on the Grammys for some of the categories that we chose: Album of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best New Artist. Album of the Year. I want to start off by listing my, well, there's some of the ones that I definitely think are going to make it, but there's some albums on here that I hope get the recognition, like No Name. She released Room 25. Solid listen all the way through. I mean, you can't get through the first 2 or 3 tracks without being like, whoa, this is really good. I mean, Chance the Rapper featured No Name back on Acid Rap. And she was on that song Lost, and that was one of the highlights of that mixtape. You hear the voice and the lyricism, and she released Telephone a year or 2 ago, and that was one of the best albums of the year in my opinion, but it didn't get the Grammy recognition that it should have. So I think Room 25 is definitely well deserving. Black Panther, the album. I mean,
Good pick.
Black Panther was one of the best movies of the year. It's not going to get Oscar buzz, but I definitely enjoyed that movie, and one of the reasons for that was the music behind it. And the music that Kendrick Lamar curated with some of the other artists definitely hit me, and I liked each song that was on it. Invasion of Privacy by Cardi B, that's definitely going to be in there because Cardi B is a massive artist. She's gotten so much recognition this year.
And it's deserved. Like her music's really good.
And for that reason, I think that she's my winner. If I were to have a vote, I'd say her impact in 2018 coupled with how good the album was, that's my winner. And then to round out, I have KOD from J. Cole. Great message on that album about drugs, and there are a couple artists this year that died due to their involvement and just getting into drugs and can't get out of it. And I think KOD is a great album trying to convey that message of let's stop. And Daytona by Pusha T. I needed to include one good music album that Kanye produced, and I think this is the best one.
Yeah, so. I can second that.
So those are my picks.
Yeah. Good picks, man. All right, Noah, what do you have for us?
So I know a couple of these we'll hear twice, but my picks will start with Astroworld.
Nice.
It seems like everywhere I go, every party or every time my roommates decide to play music in the house, every time I turn on the radio to a rap or hip hop station, you hear something off that album, and it's never the same song.
Right.
Like so many times we hear the same song over and over and over again from the same artist, and the difference with Astroworld is that, from a pop standpoint, how many of the tracks off that album reached people this year. I think it definitely deserves a mention. And another album that I thought is probably going to make it is Reputation by Taylor Swift. And I will open it up and say that I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. I don't really like her music. I've never really liked her music. I can understand why people do. Like there's some good stuff here and there that I understand.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, look around. I mean, you look at a Billboard chart.
Yeah.
Reputation is everywhere.
Right.
And so for that reason alone, I felt like I should include it in my list. And the last album that I wanted to talk about from a Grammy nomination standpoint was the Carter 5.
Yeah.
And this is a tough one because diehard Lil Wayne fans didn't really like the Carter 5.
Compared to those other ones, yeah.
Right. But it's not 2008 anymore.
Exactly.
It's not the soundscape of hip hop and rap is not the same thing as it used to be a decade ago, when Wayne was, you know, Wayne.
On top, yeah.
And it's a good album. It's a long album, and there are a couple tracks here and there that I'm just like, there's not really anything going here. But it's got what, 23 songs on it?
Something like that. Way too long.
There's enough good content there that at least deserves a mention. And, you know, there are a couple songs that kind of bring us back to old Wayne. But he's making a concerted effort to not fit in with the way his genre is going now, but at least kind of get his foot in the door. And I think for that reason, it's not a bad album.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. Good picks again. For my albums of the year, these are more of the albums that I think will get nominated, and this is my personal picks, like what I want to see on the Grammys for the most part. So I'm gonna go ahead and mention Astro World, just like Noah said. Travis Scott's. This is probably my favorite album of the year so far. Well, I mean, the year's almost over, but still. You touched on it already that hip hop is turning into pop culture,
right?
And this is a great example of that. I'm hearing different songs off Astro World in different settings, and I love it. And yeah, Travis Scott did an amazing job with this. We also, the Carter 5 as well. If anything, I think the Carter 5 will get nominated for Best Hip Hop Album,
right?
Which I can honestly, that's a good nomination.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is a really good hip hop project. It doesn't sound quite like Lil Wayne's past albums, and it is a little long, but there's not a bad song on there.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why it's on my list. Now the ones that I really, and Daytona, like you already mentioned Daytona. Daytona is probably another one of the biggest albums I've been listening to this year. The whole Good Music Camp did pretty good with their album releases. Tiana Taylor did good. I liked Ye, and I somewhat liked Kids See Ghosts, but I think Pusha T's Daytona took the baton and just ran with it. So yeah. But the other two albums that I really wanted to focus on were My Dear Melancholy by The Weeknd, going to the R&B category. This is The Weeknd before like the big pop Starboy-esque era that he like reverted back to on this album, where he's just dark, he's heartbroken, and that's The Weeknd that I like. I'm sorry, I like him being a little depressed. Because his music's so good, it's just, you can feel the emotion behind his notes and his singing and his content. I really like it. That's the reason why I fell in love with The Weeknd, and he brought that back on this album. So that's why this is on my list, and I hope it gets a nomination in something, anything. Because I don't think, Starboy got nominated for a couple things, but yeah, that album is really good. You guys should check it out. It's not that long either.
Yeah.
It's only like 5 or 6 songs. And of course, Drake's Scorpion. This is a really big one. This might, if he does submit this to the Grammys, I can see it as being the album of the year. Again, it's another long album. I don't know why 2018 is the year of super long hip hop albums.
People have stuff to say.
Yeah, they want to put it all.
There's a lot of beef.
A lot of
beef in 2018.
Yeah, a lot of beef. It's the year of the beef. But Scorpion, it has a lot of replayability. Like you can hear it on a pop radio, you can hear it on hip hop radio. Somebody's gonna find a song that they really like. You can hear it on R&B radio because half the album is R&B.
R&B, yeah.
And a bunch of big hits. We're gonna get into songs of the year later, but I mean, God's Plan is on there, which seems like it came out a long time ago, but that's on the album. I'm Upset is on the album. That's a big hit. In My Feelings, everybody was doing the In My Feelings challenge, and
Nice for What.
Nice for What, like that was, I forgot about Nice for What. That was this year too.
Yeah,
like
that could also be Song of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, I have to mention that.
Either that, In My Feelings, or God's Plan, but Drake's gonna have one.
Drake's gonna have something on here, and Scorpion is really, really good, and I think it probably will. I think definitely be on a hip hop, one of the best hip hop albums, like nominated. Yeah. But I think it has a good chance to being nominated for Album of the Year, like period.
Yep.
So,
and before we get into Song of the Year, I just want to have a disclaimer. The reason why there's so much hip hop is because hip hop is the best genre right now.
It's the most influential genre.
Like the popularity that it has at this moment in time is why there's been so much content and so many, and it's been in pop culture so much. It's relevant, and a lot of people are like, well, why isn't there a lot of rock? Why isn't there a lot of, a lot of pop? Well, I mean, pop's still in it, but
yeah.
What happened? Well, what happened is that hip hop has become a part of the culture. Basketball, shoe game.
Shoe game, yeah.
Pretty much everything revolves around hip hop culture.
Yeah, I think it's the coolest genre out right now. Everybody wants to be a part of that culture because it's cool. It's like what's everybody's listening to some sort of hip hop.
Yeah, and
back in the day it was rock. I mean, in the 70s, 80s, everybody listened to rock, no matter what race, ethnicity. Mm-hmm. Now, almost every race and ethnicity listens to hip hop, and it's in the forefront for a reason.
And we saw it at the Grammys last year. 4 of the 5 albums of the year were rap.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I had to give album of the year that was outside of hip hop, it would probably be Golden Hour by Casey Musgraves. Great album. Definitely a country pop crossover. Bop.
Okay.
Bop.
I didn't really see that coming from you, Robert.
Dude, I love
it.
Little Casey Musgraves. All right.
Hey.
You're speaking my language now.
High horse.
Man, all right, cool.
Great song.
All right, so we're going to transition to Songs of the Year. I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go ahead and go first because I think I have the most picks out of this. Yeah. So I'm going to touch on Scorpion again because we already mentioned it. God's Plan will probably be nominated for Song of the Year. I think just the video alone, remember Drake was giving out to a bunch of families in impoverished areas, giving out money to a school, to a grocery store, all this stuff. And God's plan, this is God's plan. Everything that's happening is supposed to be happening because it is God's plan. Not to be too religious, but it just gives you the sense of hope. All right, I can do this. Mm-hmm. So, it played on the radio all summer. It was summer. Yeah. Second would be, where am I at? This Is America by Childish Gambino. That was another thing that was on all summer. And the video had a good, great message, lyrics, and and Childish Gambino's killing it.
Yeah, he is.
Always is. Next would be, I'm not gonna say the full title, but Beyonce and Jay-Z's song "Ape." Bleep. Ape. You know what I'm talking like.
We'll fix that in post.
We'll fix that in post. Yeah. Ape. Beep. But this song was amazing. It's one of those get you hype songs da, 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 da. I'm not gonna sing it because I can't sing the song, but that would be another one for me. I'm not a huge Jay-Z and Beyonce fan, but again, this album was really good and I really like this song. I played a lot. And next would be I Like It by Cardi B. That was another one. A lot of summer anthems on here. Again, we mentioned Latin hip hop coming to the forefront. I forget who. I think it was J Balvin.
J Balvin and actually Bad Bunny.
And Bad Bunny. See? Again, but it was amazing. Cardi B did her thing on that song. And lastly, I don't know if this might get nominated, but it's called "Smile" by Lil Duval and Snoop Dogg. I can't remember the other person who was on it, but this song always puts me in a good mood.
You're living your best life.
You're living your best life, and I'm not going back and forth with you guys. That's pretty much the anthem. I'm not going back and forth. I'm living my best life. I don't care what you guys are doing because I'm doing me.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And it's all these feel-good songs I think are gonna get nominated this year.
Well, I'm gonna have to, double up on I Like It and God's Plan. God's Plan's actually my winner, just because of how relevant it was at the beginning of the year, and it still is. Other Drake songs from Scorpion have overshadowed it, but I still like God's Plan.
God's Plan, yeah.
And then Better Now by Post Malone, great song.
Great song.
It's from a really good album. I like Post Malone, but
I like Post Malone.
I mean, I feel like that's a good pick for Song of the Year because the Grammys are gonna like it, and it's big in pop culture right now, and it's gone throughout the whole year. So, how about you, Noah?
Mo Bamba. End of story.
End of story.
Here's why.
All right, break it down.
It's been out all summer.
Yeah.
It's still wildly popular, and it's a new artist.
Yeah.
That's
Trifecta.
For me. That's the big three reasons why I think it has a really good chance at winning Song of the Year. Just because it's something different. It's not Drake. It's not Wayne. It's not
any other big
yeah.
artists.
I mean, it's not off the tip of my tongue.
It's just vibes,
right.
too. Like,
it's one of those songs you hear it and you're just like, all right.
Okay, I can get down to this, even though you don't fully understand what he's saying.
I had a buddy sprain his ankle so badly while listening to Mo Bamba. He's been on crutches for like a month.
I like this thing, like, when you break an arm or something, like, hey, how'd you do that? Like, well, I was listening to this one song, got a little too crazy.
Man, why are you on crutches? I was listening to Mo Bamba.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
Song of the Year, right there. That's why. That's
if you break something, you're on crutches. It deserves to be Song of the Year.
Sheck West, his recent album that came out was also a really good album full of bangers. Live Sheck West, Die Sheck West, good song. But Mo Bamba, it's everywhere.
Mo Bamba.
And I mean, it's perfect because Mo Bamba's in the NBA now, and he's a great player from Texas. Shout out to Mo Bamba.
Exposure.
Yes. And I remember Sheck West was like, "Can we use your name for this title, or at least give me a shout out?" And Sheck West gave him a whole song. So that's what it's about.
And if you're Mo Bamba, that you got a whole you got a rap anthem about you.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's playing it every day when he's going to the locker room, and that's
nothing.
great.
If Kendrick made a song about Rob White, I don't know what it'd be called. But man,
if Orlando is not playing that song every time he walks onto the court, they're doing it wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah. No. Doing right. Don't baseball players, like when they come out,
they have their
song,
their walk-up song.
That should be his song. Like if he did play baseball, that'd be his song for the rest of his career.
Yeah. All right. Well, shifting over to Best New Artist. Noah, how about you kick us off?
Yeah, we'll just keep right on the Sheck West train.
Yeah.
I picked Sheck West for Best New Artist because of the exposure that Mo Bamba gained them and for how consistent their new album was with that style and how effective it was in the box office, or not in the box office, on the Billboard charts.
Yeah.
But in addition to Sheck West, I'd like to throw a country artist out there, and Luke Combs, a guy that's been around for a little over a year now.
Yeah.
What was it? When It Rains, It Pours. That was his song that pretty much put him on the map. But he's released several new songs since then and another album, and he has really taken the country genre by storm. So I think he's got a good shot.
How does he compare to other country artists?
His stuff is, I would say it's a combination between like your stadium country, your Keith Urban, that kind of stuff, and your Zach Brown, the stuff that tells more of a story. It's got that kind of hard charging country rock style with a little bit more personal feel, and I think that's why he's really been successful.
All right, I can see that.
He's kind of bridging the gap between the two styles of country that people like and hate.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see that. All right, Rob, what is your Best New Artist pick?
Well, I have a few. I have Bad Bunny up there. I've been highlighting him this whole time, and it's a funny name actually.
Bad Bunny.
Great artist. The thing about him, he has a deep voice that draws in all the girls, and I mean,
like
if he can
I
rap
know across the table.
Well, yeah, Bad Bunny's a bad man, and he does his thing and he raps his raps. So, shout out to him.
Shout out.
Juice WRLD, he just released a joint project with Future actually just today, and this whole year he's been getting a lot of praise because of his songs All Girls Are the Same, and then Lucid Dreams, both really good songs that have attracted the radio attention that it deserves, and I think that he's doing a great job in the scene, especially after the legacy left by X. I think that Juice WRLD is going to carry it forward.
There you go.
Lil Baby, another artist that I want to highlight because of his exposure with Drake, but also taking that and using it with his new project with Gunna. I think that he's another artist that's going to be here for a while. So those would be my main picks.
Nice. Cool. All right, I have 2 more artists. I already mentioned one, and it is Cardi B. Again, this is her year. She's been out for a while. I'm not sure if any of her songs got any Grammy buzz the last couple years.
Bodak Yellow.
Bodak Yellow,
yeah.
She did. But yeah, if she can get nominated, I believe she will, and I think she would actually win.
Definitely.
Yes. I mean, yeah,
Well,
everybody likes Cardi B.
Cardi's proved that she's not just a flash in the pan. Now.
Exactly. Like, she has longevity. And another artist would be Joyner Lucas, one of the new waves of lyrical hip-hop artists, not just a SoundCloud rapper. He's been featured on Eminem's new album, Kamikaze, and he dropped his own album about a year or 2 ago, and it was incredible. He's like one of the new lyricists that has come out in the last couple of years that we haven't really seen in a while.
Right.
Other than like Eminem.
Right.
He just reminds me of like Eminem.
Eminem.
Andre 3000, I can see. Just Rakim. Just all the great lyricists. I can see him carrying that wave into the future. So yeah, shout out to Joyner Lucas. And I think that will wrap up our show today. It was a good episode.
It was a really good episode.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I had fun.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me on. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, always let us know when you want to come back.
Always keep me on my toes with my music. Make sure I'm keeping things nice and tight.
I don't know. You're always on your toes, and I like it. You have good choices. I really value your opinion.
And a great voice.
And a great voice. Yeah.
I appreciate that. You guys, too nice to me.
So nice. All right. Thank you guys for watching. We will catch you guys next time. I'm Rob White.
And I'm Rob Segovia.
I'm Noah Bullard.
Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Peace.